Let's move on into the rest of our lesson. Welcome back, boys and girls. Listen to these words and listen for the sound in the initial or beginning position. Yes, yet, yam. What sound do you hear in the initial position? Yes, yet, yam. We hear a y sound in the initial position of each of these words. Let's take a look at these words up on the board. Yes, yet, yam. What letter do you see is making the y sound? That's right. We see the letter Y at the beginning of each of these words, and that is making the y sound. Is the letter Y a vowel or a consonant? The letter Y is a consonant. Let's finish coding these words. How do we code a vowel followed by a consonant? We code it with a breve. All right now, boys and girls, it's time for our skywriting. So let's get our fingers high up into the air, nice and straight, and we're going to practice writing the letter Y. And we're going to start with capital Y. So we're going to start at our top line, and we're going to slant down to our midline. Then we're going to go back up to the top line and slant down the other way to our midline. Now let's go straight down to the baseline and draw our stick. Now let's go to lowercase y. So we are going to start at our midline and we're going to slant down to our baseline. Then we're going to go back to our midline, and this time we're going to slant down under the water. All right now, boys and girls, now it's time to build some words. So if you have magnetic letters or letter tiles at home, go ahead and get them out and you can work along with us. Make sure you have 2-letter E's handy just in case you need them for something that we might build. And make sure you add the letter Y to your letters for today. If you don't have any of those materials at home, that's okay. You can go ahead and follow along using paper and pencil. I'm going to give you all a minute to get your materials together. All right, let me have us back here so we can pay attention and let's see what word we're going to make first. Our first word is the word yes. Yes. What sounds do you hear in the word yes? Let's go ahead and let's build this word. Now let's read this word together. Yes. Good job. All right now, boys and girls. Now I want you to change the S in yes to a T. Listen again. I want you to change the S in yes to a T. We need to change out our letters. And now let's read our new word. Yet. We have the word yet. All right now, boys and girls. Now listen carefully. We're going to make the word yams. Yams. Let's sound it out together. Y, a, m, s. All right, let's build our word. All right, let's build our word. Y, a, m, s. Now let's read our word together. Yams. Remember, if there's a word that you're having problems figuring out, break it down and listen carefully to each part of the word as you chop up that word. All right, now we're going to practice making some sight words. Our first sight word is the word where. Where are you going? Where? Let's read our word together. Where? Let's make another word. This time we're going to make the word one. I have one dog at home. One. Let's read our word together. One. And our last word is the word two. I saw two ducks at the park. Two. Let's read our word together. Two. Great job, boys and girls. Now today we have been learning about a new letter. We've been learning about the letter Y. So when we see this card, we have the keyword yarn to help us remember the sound the letter Y makes. So when we see this card, we're going to say yarn y. Great job! Now let's go ahead and practice coding some words up on the board. I have this phrase up on my board. Let's start with the first word in this phrase. We have a vowel all by itself. An open, accented vowel is long, and we code it with a macron. Remember the rest of that rule, an open, accented vowel. Now let's look at our next word. Look at the end of the word. I see suffix ed. So let's box it in. And I know that suffix ed says t when it comes after an unvoiced sound. The letter P goes p, which is quiet and unvoiced. So that means that suffix ed is going to go t. What else do we need to code in this word? Let's look for some obvious coding first. Any easy codings? Look at the beginning of the word. Yes, we have the letter C. So we need to put a K back to remind ourselves that it makes the K sound. What other easy codings do we see? Oh, yes. We have double consonants. So we need to cross out the last one to remind ourselves not to read it. Now, let's look for our vowel. Is our vowel followed by a consonant? Yes, it is. A vowel followed by a consonant is short, and we code it with a breve. Now, let's go ahead and let's read this phrase. I clapped. We must have been watching some kind of good show or something. I clapped. Let's take a look at this phrase. Let's start with the first word in this phrase. What do you see at the beginning of this word? We see digraph TH. So let's go ahead and underline it. And in this word, digraph TH is going to be making its voiced sound. So we need to draw a voice line through it to remind ourselves that it is making the V sound. Now let's look at the rest of the word. Ooh, I see a sneaky E at the end of the word. So let's cross it out. And sneaky E jumps over and makes the other vowel say its name. Now let's look at the S in this word. I know that the letter S at the end of this word is going to be making its voiced sound when it comes after a vowel sound. So I'm going to draw a voice line through the letter S to remind myself that it's going to go Z in this word. Now let's look at the next word. Look at the end of the word. We see suffix ing, so let's go ahead and box it in. I know that suffix ing adds a syllable to words, so I need to put an accent mark after my root word. Now let's go ahead and let's code our root word. Let's look for our vowel. Is it followed by a consonant? So let's code it with a breve. Now let's look at our last word. Look at the end of the word. I see suffix S. And I know that when suffix S comes after the letter K, it's going to make its unvoiced sound. So it's going to go S, S, S. So we're going to leave it alone. What else do we see? We see digraph CK. So we need to cross out the letter C to remind ourselves that it only makes one K sound. Now let's look for our vowel. Is it followed by a consonant? Yes, it is a consonant digraph. So we're going to code it with a breve. Let's go ahead and let's read this phrase. These stinking socks. P.U. I don't want to smell any stinking socks. Let's look at this last sentence. Oh, at the beginning of this sentence, I see one of our sight words. It's a contraction, but it's also one of our sight words. Remember, sight words are words that do not always follow the rules, so we need to have them memorized. And this is the word don't. Let's look at the next word. Oh, I see some obvious coding there. I see double consonants, so I need to cross out the last one to remind myself not to read it. And now let's look for the vowel. Is it followed by a consonant? Yes, double consonants. A vowel followed by a consonant is short, and we code it with a breve. Now let's look at our next word. We see another vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Now let's look at our last word in this sentence. Any obvious coding first? I see double consonants at the end of this word, so I'm going to cross out the last one to remind myself that it is silent. I don't see any other obvious coding, so I better go ahead and look for my vowels and consonants. And I see a vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel pattern. So I need to draw my syllable divider line and put an accent mark after the first syllable. Now let's code our first syllable. Do you see a vowel? Is it followed by a consonant? So we're going to code it with a breve. Let's look at our next syllable. We see another vowel followed by a consonant, so we're going to code it with a breve. Let's go ahead and let's read this sentence. Don't yell at Maxwell. Oh my, I hope Maxwell didn't get in trouble. Great job today, boys and girls. We learned about a new letter, and I want you to keep a lookout for it. And don't forget, keep on coding your words as you're reading and you're writing and working along. It'll help you to figure out how best to sound out the words so you can understand them. We'll see you later. Bye.